please.
Seriously.
You're up, Commissioner.
All right, Bannock County Commissioners are now in session. We're here to talk about the event center and the grounds that the county owns down in Downey, along with the city of Downey and the parcels that have right-of-ways, and how do we get this settled so we can put a building down there? Everybody understand that? Okay. You might as well stand up, you look at the maps and see what's going on.
Take this one first.
First on the properties,
I'll get rid of that first.
I mean, that's platted right-of-ways. We'd like to get rid of them. What's the feelings?
I don't think the city would have any issue giving that right away up and squaring this off in the back like we talked about. That served no purpose to the city, so I don't think there'd be an issue in giving that right away to the county. Show them where we're talking about, Joe.
From here to here.
Okay, well, and I was thinking about here, because this building is right in the middle of that right-of-way also.
And then this way from here.
From the park.
From where you're at now, square this out.
So you just come square down here, right?
Well, right now, we're looking square here and here. We haven't discussed the
Okay.
center of that.
And you see where I just talked
Yep,
about too?
yep,
Where we have that little,
right,
and that's why I thought that where the fence comes right there anyway.
yep,
Right there.
yep.
No, the fence is, the fence is over here. Yeah, there's no fence there.
Isn't it?
Let's go
Yeah,
here.
The baseball diamond goes out here.
Oh,
It's out there.
There it is.
And that's why we were trying to keep the park there.
Okay.
Well, sure.
Well,
We could do the jig of the job, take it up and across.
Right.
Take this down to here. and go
Take the two
across.
quarters of the circle off.
What's your feeling about giving us that piece?
that's the baseball field.
Correct.
I don't think we want to give that up.
Why?
Part of the
I
city
don't
park.
see any reason to give it to you.
Just to square all this up, and if we're gonna turn this into a really world-class fairgrounds, it doesn't make sense to have that piece in there. Maybe we can trade one of the other pieces if you want some additional ground. To me, it would make more sense if we had all that, and you squared up that top half, so you still keep the front half as your park, but then everything else here would be the counties and the fairgrounds, so we can continue to invest and grow and build that facility. That's the thought.
Why don't we let you rent it for a week out of the year?
That little strip right there needs to go back to
We
the
want to put
city
something on it.
to square that out.
If you can, then.
To go back to the city or?
Yeah, that little strip
What's the point of holding on to that?
Okay.
If we
is
can move
is
a
county
park,
property.
baseball
Just
field,
take
if
that
you really
through.
wanted.
Oh, right,
Right
okay,
over
yep,
here's
And
okay.
then what you just said, take that
Maybe
straight
give you some
across.
Yep.
land here,
And
and
then
take
all of that.
that.
Right, right.
This
Give
is
this
what
back.
what our building would be.
Fairgrounds.
Island thing.
Yep, yep, okay, yep,
That makes sense?
Yeah.
At least on that part, right?
right.
So what they're
Yeah.
discussing is Jeff wants this. The county right now, they don't want to give it.
It's just part of Downey City Park. Just part of Downey City Park.
How much?
What are we getting out of it? What are we getting
Some
out
more
of
land
it?
over here that you could potentially turn into more of your park, or do something else with it.
Mayor, this is your fight.
Well, so if, I don't think the council will go with giving up the baseball diamond up. That's my opinion. We're gonna have to put this in front of the council, of course.
Right. But
We can bring that up, see if they're good with that, but we don't like the idea of having to go to the county now to use that baseball park.
well, how often does it get used as it is?
James. I'm from Inco, but I used to live that direction. It is used quite a bit. And the city, and I'm really an outside source on this one, the city actually uses that ball field quite a bit.
Yeah, we use that a lot.
Okay.
Because it's kind of like the one central thing in Downey that's left. So,
But again, if we were to transition some of this property
Oh,
over here
absolutely.
and say.
It makes,
you can
that
put your-
makes sense,
You can put your ballpark or whatever you want.
what
for-
you're saying. It
Then
does.
would you help us fund to put a ballpark over there? I mean, to put
This
it,
is-
rebuild it? Or just give us that property and we'd have to rebuild it?
Well, the
Well,
ballpark.
that's what we're talking about.
Overfill from the,
That'd be worth talking about.
Okay,
To me, it makes sense for us to have
Mhm.
that as a whole
It
fairground.
does.
and to us, it makes sense to not let it go. So it's a,
And then give you this piece over
it's an
here,
abutment.
all here to do a park, baseball, whatever you need from there. It's just cleaner. And again, I go back and say, why do we hold on to history so tight?
It would be.
If we can
Well-
make things better, we move
Giving
them
us
around.
where-
And everything here on this side
What are they
was
talking about
gifted to
doing?
the city of Downey is the other thing that somebody would need to look into. That was gifted for eternity to remain a city park. If you look at the way it was done.
It can be changed.
It can be changed, but it's
on this one here.
And I
dear to
think
me,
we still
okay?
have to
It was
vote on it.
my family that gave that to the city.
Oh,
So-
okay.
That
Now
makes
now I
So,
start to understand.
so I'm gonna fight till I die, Jeff. That's just the way it is.
This is
Well,
Sorry.
that makes
That's fair
sense.
enough.
Sorry.
No, no,
It's the
I
way it
appreciate
is.
that knowledge, so thank you. I couldn't
This is where
understand
we
why you were
start.
holding on
This
to
one,
it. Now
this
I
one.
Well, and I, in the city,
And then that one would go as well.
what do we gain by giving that up?
right.
And
Yeah.
equal piece of
For 10
property.
days a year.
Equal piece of property over there that could be improved.
Could be.
Well, honestly, I think that it's a combination of games. I think it's a game for you and it's a game for us.
Right.
I think that as we put this building in here and have the flow, but,
Yeah,
and then to utilize the building by both the city and the county, that's a game. That's a game that is very positive to me. So,
yeah, we're good with putting that building on the other side of the street, because that was talked about way back when that building first fell in. And then for some reason it got moved across, and I've talked, anybody I've talked to is in agreement with moving that across. We've talked to the city man, he already had the sewer plans and all drew up, ready to go on that side of the building. And he's still for that. He said he still think that's the best place for that building. So we're good with that.
So, let's go with two options here, okay? One is, we can map it out of trading properties, you can take that, but the other one is, let's just say what we're doing with the right-of-ways. I think that's the key thing right now. We need to start moving on this.
Right.
Yeah, there's no way.
I
No,
mean,
we want to get her done,
We
just
got-
like you do.
we gotta have these buildings excavated out of there
Yep.
within 3 weeks, so that we're.
Well, I think most, like, I know some of you guys want those buildings out of there, and before we were against that, but now we put that across, so that makes sense, get those buildings out of there, put a new building in there
Make it pretty.
and make it nice right there. I agree with that. And getting you those right of ways, right off the get-go, we could do that, and then maybe negotiate on this other down the road.
Well, I think that we have the conversations, we kind of present. I have mixed feelings about it. I would really love this to flow. But I also see this as, we don't have parking.
Well, that's where.
That's what I was gonna
that's the
say, if you
next
give
thing.
that to us, where are they gonna park? If we were gonna have a baseball field there.
I mean, it-
Yeah, that's ideal for parking.
That's another deal. I mean,
Yeah,
all this back in here,
Yeah.
it didn't, we're grateful this last year, the motorcycles, there wasn't any problems.
no.
I mean,
no.
thank you so very, very
Smile
much.
this big.
That,
Yeah, well,
the
yeah.
Lynn's hair didn't change any color this
No.
year.
Oh, well, I was ready to beat some, yeah,
Yeah, that worked out good.
But
thank you.
But all these interior right-of-ways, I think that we just need to,
Clean it up.
you know, make that county property. I mean, we're gonna keep our, if we wanna, so in 2 years, we wanna do another new barn. I mean, I don't wanna be going through the same discussion.
Sure.
Again. Where can we put it? I mean, it may be a different pattern that we wanna make the roads through there as we tear something out and make it more convenient of where to put and what to put where. So, comments?
So really, when I was down there the other night and Hal and I started really pushing this idea, and then Scott came and talked to you.
Yeah,
Goal number one was the right-of-ways, right? And I think
Yep.
we're all on the same page there.
yep,
And number two is access to the fairgrounds. And I think we're all on the same page that it would be a great idea to have a better access of
Like a main.
Frontal-
like a main
Yeah.
entrance. And so,
Yeah.
and then number three then is any land swapping that goes on. It's nice to have contiguous properties, but I really feel like that's a last resort. That really, for me, even as the county, Downey wants the fair to be there. And so, yes, we need space and we need those right-of-ways moved so we can build buildings there, like where our buildings are half on, half off here and there. But the land swap to me is the last part of it. Yeah, it's nice to have contiguous properties. I really think we need that. But that for me is the last priority. I really want it to look nice, and it's really just got to be a team effort. The ball field really is, I mean, I don't think we've ever been told no during the fair to be able to use it for anything.
Never.
Never been told them.
So does it really matter if we own it or not? Because we have full use of it.
yeah, it's true.
So,
True.
I mean,
Yep.
there are other pieces, like for me, and I know it's not pretty property, it's not, I mean, I've sold real estate for 20 plus years. And so when you're talking about like-kind property, is this valued property the same as this valued property? No. But this is contiguous property, and then we have this and this. And yeah, we have a building down here that is a little bit of a leapfrog. But right now, what we have is a checkerboard, which is ugly. Hopscotch is better than a checkerboard. And so if we have here and here and here for Downey and the county, that's better than what we have here, which is a checkerboard, which is ugly. So for me, anything that happens that makes it a little more contiguous is better. Whether it's that or that or that, I don't care if our parking is up here and we put our new building right up here and move things around and that's an arena or whatever. I don't care where it is if it's contiguous. But we've never been told no.
No.
It would, I mean, would that be nice? Sure it would for us. But if we look at it from their perspective, no. No one's going to want to give away a whole baseball field.
No.
Why would they? And that's not the same size as that, really. I think you'd struggle to put a good field in here. So,
But with that, for our citizens, they're used to just going down there and
Yeah.
using the baseball field if they want. They're not used to they're not, and we don't have enough traffic down there that people are gonna wanna pick up the phone and call the event center and say, can I rent the baseball field? Or is anybody using it? If a team wants to go down there or something, they just go use it because we are kinda isolated.
it's a difficult problem, but really, I mean, from my perspective, we've never been told no
No.
about the fair. And that's what we need. Contiguous properties in real estate is really nice. But we could get that with this, even though that's not the same, you know? And
Yeah, that's not even like super good for parking where that's at. It would have to be
No.
leveled.
Yeah.
So on these right-of-ways, is there utilities right-of-ways through these? Are they just
These ones
platted
are-
for roads?
These ones are in there.
Power comes,
This one's out of the back.
power comes
Power
from
comes
Surface to here,
aside.
comes down off of this line right here.
But this is a street.
That's your main street.
These are just right-of-ways.
Yeah, there shouldn't
Yeah.
be any,
I wouldn't
shouldn't
think
be any
so.
sewer.
That one's a street.
That's a
too.
road, yep.
So, yeah, so basically we're talking about here, here, and here. I mean, those right-of-ways,
Right,
and getting rid of them.
yep,
Which if we got rid of these right-of-ways, that allows us,
yep,
if we made that, whatever we made it, a parking lot, whatever we made it, that would be,
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Tony told me the sewer and water is over here.
that's correct, yeah. And, but the one, this is an alleyway.
Yep, that's an alleyway.
The which basically
It would just stay as a
Stay.
utility easement. We wouldn't vacate that easement, but it
No.
could still be capitalized and used as parking or development of a parking lot if that's the direction that one gets.
Okay. So I think that that's what we want to do to start with. We want to make sure that, I mean, next week Kyle can have
Yeah.
people down there tearing things out. Delaine's got to go down there tomorrow and clean everything.
I need some
We're
Connex
having that
fast.
bulldozer
Six,
race, right?
6 o'clock Monday morning.
Kyle and
We'll
I
be
are
ready.
You
a
need to
bulldozer
come
race.
down and
I
smell
was already at daycare working at that point.
Promise you, okay. It's on the record now.
You need to come down and stand on the street when we start knocking them buildings down and tell them it was your idea.
It is.
Because as you know, we're not
I'll
everybody.
take, I'll take them.
I'll go.
Ernie ought to have a sledgehammer and take the first swing with a sledgehammer and get a
We're
picture.
gonna have a fit.
I
I think this is
Well,
the
he wants
best.
the picture of the golden shovel, not the sledgehammer,
Okay.
right?
We've got one. Well, maybe we need to put up some poster or something like you guys had at the fair so that
Right.
people understand
Put
when
that
they
sign
come
back
down,
up
the
and
sign
say-
back up or something.
That's true.
So
we changed
we
the
don't get
design of
inundated
that
with
sign.
phone calls.
Yeah.
We
If
can-
you had that
We should
sign
just
up,
put the
everybody
sign
thought that
up.
building was going there last year.
It's true. It might
So
ease a
if you
lot of
put that
money.
back
It
there,
would just
maybe,
ease minds, make people feel better.
yeah, make people,
Yeah.
for the first,
I'm sure we still have them too.
I'll bet, yeah.
yeah.
So what will it take and how long will it take?
Well, as far as giving you those right of ways, as far as the city, we could call a special meeting to give those right of ways to you.
And the truth of the matter is, if you guys are gonna be in agreement, then I have no problem of sending Kyle down there.
Right.
Before you've signed something,
Right.
because that's ours anyway. But,
Exactly.
so we can
So
start.
your
So
main concern as the county is to get that right of way done right now, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
it is, it is. And
And
all
we
these,
can do
all
that.
these buildings that we have built in the right of ways, I'd like them, everybody to understand that those are county buildings and
Right.
whatever needs to be done with them, we have the ability to move forward and
Yeah.
take care of whatever needs to be done with them.
Sure.
That way, if we go in those right of ways, then we can build another couple of good buildings up here in the future.
Now, when we tear down that building on the very, very end,
This one.
that one right there, that's where our campers go. Are we going to, you and I went over there the other day and we had talked about, we'll just have to have a big electrical box on the end. Will we be putting posts in along there so that there's gonna be that electrical?
We're not going down that path yet.
Okay,
Is that where we put it?
because I know I'm gonna be asked that question, so.
Right now, the plan is not to replace them. Period. It's just not part of if we go there.
Okay,
But that's not to say that it's completely off the table for where would it be
Future.
replaced.
alrighty. At
Fine,
least I'll
yes.
have those answers. So will all that power and water be gone from there clear to that end barn? Or will there still be the power along the fence?
When you say end barn, is this the end barn?
Yeah, that's.
Yes.
Because this is all our free
Yes,
parking
and
right
so
now.
there's usually been electrical all the way down through there, and that's
Yeah.
like usually where our vendors.
How soon do you
and
need it back?
Just by fair time, because that's where we put our
Okay, well.
special people,
Yeah.
including me, because I'm
And
special.
That's a discussion we need
Special.
to have.
Special.
You're old enough to understand, so you're one of Jerry's kids.
Yeah, I'm one of Jerry's kids.
That's a discussion we need to have anyway.
Okay.
And we've been talking about it, Fair Board's been talking about it, because we charge nobody for power.
But we're going to start,
Oh, you're going to.
yes.
So that's a discussion, I mean, if it makes sense to charge people and have nice
Sure.
setup there.
Exactly.
But if we're just letting people dry camp,
Yeah,
then it's dry camp, and there's no electricity
No
with
power.
dry camp.
Well, nobody's
That's all.
concerned.
but, and there is a good thing about this, because we do have a 4-H group that I talked to you about, that they kind of feel like they own that. When that building's gone, it's going to kind of take care of that, so,
Well,
okay.
it's kind of like Jeff says, just because it's always been tradition doesn't mean
Exactly.
you don't own the certain camping spots. If somebody else. I
Yeah, they
think
do. Well,
They did.
The sign goes up in
May.
July, May. I'm camping here. They put their signs up.
on county property. Where's Alex? Take him down.
Yep.
Take him down. Okay, so we'll write this up. And we'll get started. And then we'll bring it before you guys. And we'll have to have a public hearing and the whole bit.
Yep.
So, a couple of items, just say, haven't digested this now since Tuesday. I did the large plan so that you could see how the new building would fit on this property, and it doesn't affect anything relative to a right-of-way. It will be building on actual county-owned property, so that's not a problem. We can go down the path with the issues of these rights-of-way and get them vacated and continue. So from my planning background and architecture background, I look at this and I think to myself, Bannock County South Fair was just kind of catch as catch can for historical reasons. It just was what it was, okay? Then the wellness complex came into being, and the commitment to Bannock County Fair by the commissioners was made to focus it right here.
Yep.
There has never been any plan about where and why a building goes where it does. There's nothing that really denotes Fairgrounds. It's just a mishmash and just,
Yep.
while we're going down this process, we really need to think about the concept of this potentially, in my mind, this becomes parking. This almost, in reality, becomes main gate. And this is the thoroughfare that takes you from one end of the fair to the other, and this is a main gate. These are minor gates, okay? But the idea is that when you come in, you don't have to go searching for where you want to be. And I only have this to refer to, but when you go to the Bingham County property and you go to main gate, you walk through that main gate and then bam, you are right, I mean, you are in the hub, you are in the hive, and we don't have that.
Right.
So in this process, long-term, we need to have, I hate to say it, more meetings, more discussion about what makes sense to the city, what makes sense to the fairgrounds. And I know this is a very personal item. But in regards to the development of a good, consistent fairgrounds, if you've got a baseball diamond in the middle of your fairgrounds, it's kind of like, well, that's the most important function. And we get that, we understand that. But if it's gone and it's replaced perhaps out here on the north end with this property that the city owns, and there's a joint venture between city and county to try to get this moved and develop this into a level that this one is, and this starts to develop.
I would say a better level.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. But then it makes sense, one, the fairgrounds is a big draw. Because then it has sense, makes sense as a draw for the city of Downey for a very short period of time, but it is also used. Those are some of my thoughts. I'm not saying that that's what it has to be, but long-term.
Long-term.
This is what it's always been, but what it's always been is that's what the best that serves the future. And so those are the kind of conversations that I think we need to have moving forward.
Sure.
Okay?
Yeah.
I'm just coming at it from my professional background and the reasoning why. You put this building right here, you've automatically have this beautification that sits here. You've got this that sits here. There's particular elements that just in my mind make sense that there isn't. You got this perimeter parking with a minor gate. You got this perimeter parking with a main gate, and you start to make sense of a fairgrounds. So that's where I'm coming from.
Sure.
As I've studied
Sure, that
this.
makes sense. That would be awesome.
This still stays as its function. What happens if all of your vendors start to line up along this edge right here? And as you come in main gate, you've got a place to, what happens if food court develops along here, and now you can go across and be in the park for when you sit down to eat. All of those kinds of things that go into the relationships of one part of the fairgrounds to the other. So anyway, those are.
How often does this RV park get used?
Oh,
Always.
All summer long.
Yeah.
it's got campers in it right now.
Yeah.
Yep.
Huge.
Baseball tournaments? Right there?
We could name it High Baseball Field.
We are gonna have a baseball.
We gave up the softball tournament because we were trying to develop the fair into a bigger event.
Yeah, the fair got so
Because
big.
we held
had
that
to do
for
away with it.
30 years down there,
Softball
slow pitch softball tournament, every year fair time.
Okay, we're gonna do it.
But we abandoned it
You're gonna help me.
to help increase the,
People-
to give up ground for vendors.
Yeah.
Because it's really hard to play softball with food court
Food trucks
in your
everywhere.
outfield.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
So, yeah, we
There
gave
was
it up.
some near-death experience.
Yes.
And it wasn't from the hot dogs?
This up-
All of a sudden, softball goes by a second.
Find somebody else. I don't know. Yeah, you're in.
That's a great idea, Al.
Yeah, that is a great
In
idea.
all
That,
seriousness,
that would be a great
if
spot.
you as a community now have a commitment from the commission to really start putting a focus on this facility, you can slug me when we're out in the hall. This becomes secondary. And so is there potential to move it? And if we can move it, over time, as we continue to go
Sure.
down, I mean, this doesn't have to be an immediate answer,
Well,
but
sure.
think long-term, then what are our solutions? Do we then do a joint venture between city county to then develop a new field for the city of Downey, because we end up taking possession of the property, but what's it worth to you in regards to a swap? Well, that doesn't make sense from a financial end because you lost property, but now you've got to spend all of your money to go develop a ball. But those are long-term conversations.
Sure.
And we do need some kind
I
of.
mean, I can't
goals.
speak for the commission, but just based on some numbers that we got for another field this year, we could do that field fenced, scrubbed, and with sod in 1 year. If we used Pilt in 1 year and just said, that's what we're using Pilt for this year, all of it. We could do that field in 1 year with bleachers.
So, we're talking
If
one
we use
use, we're
Pilt.
talking one use again, okay? We're talking only baseball, considering that that's all we ever use it for is Little League baseball or tournament events or anything like that. The rest of the summer, our people come into the park and utilize this, we utilize this at Easter, so we're gonna send everybody down that end now. See, there's still not a good flow to
There's
the
no-
city year round.
No saying that they couldn't use it still as
Well,
a
depends on what you
field to
build out
play.
there. Right?
Well, if it's just.
Because we're gonna develop it long-term. I'm just,
Well, that's why
I
we
gotta be
need
the
to
devil's
put together a
advocate
plan.
because there's more than one use for that piece of ground.
Sure.
That's our only large parcel of green in a park in the city of Downey.
Yep, large. Yep, right.
That's it.
Right.
Woodland Park doesn't
That
have
would
it,
be-
No,
And
that's-
it would be here too.
And maybe.
but it's out of the flow again.
Well,
For
maybe.
anything other than baseball, that's a great baseball spot. That's amazing baseball spot. I
Well,
love
maybe
it.
you go back to like what Jeff was saying then, and then, okay, we help you with the field here, and then you have this,
We do
that's
something
also
on that side.
a grassy area too,
But
that
we gotta
you
have
could
the park,
use.
we gotta have the fairgrounds parking. What do we do about
Well,
that?
you, during the park, during the fair, you park on the grass like you do up at the state fair. And then all the other times of the year, you're playing on it.
The ground that each governmental entity owns has potential. It just needs to be thought about and planned.
Right.
Which is,
It's
as
a
comment,
long-term.
going back,
And
that's
that's-
just never been done.
And that's what I was
It's time.
saying, is
It's literally
really,
time.
the contiguous property is the third goal, really. Because we
Right.
can make this work together
sure.
with the rights of way and the building, and the third goal has got to be the contiguous property, and we can get there. And everybody's got ideas, and everyone has good ideas, because there are lots of things that can work. There's lots of things that can work. This can work if we leave it as it is.
And really
Right.
quickly,
Oh, yeah, because it has been working.
and thank you for the concession to move that building to here, because this makes so much more sense.
Oh, for sure.
Absolutely.
As
Where is
as
that
the
plan?
initial kickoff of a long-term planning.
Yeah,
review.
No,
yeah, you're not gonna get any kickback on doing that, Bill.
I think you should build a baseball field down here and call it the pit.
That's kind of what it is, a pit.
So that's basically how that's going to fit
FEMA wouldn't let us, it's in the
on that
floodplain.
property. This is the building.
Give me the
that-
swamp too.
This is the building that sits in the right of way. This is the existing
The
We used
old
to
vendor
cook in
booth.
it, yeah.
There you go.
Yeah,
This other building, and then this one is just barely out of the corner. And I did that so that if this is a go, within the next 7 to 10 days, that whole site needs to be developed relative to what me and Dan, Kyle, and others in the county are going to be doing to get that site prepped and get that laid out. And then long-term, how we anticipate to use edges for parking, parking along the front. Is this really the orientation that makes the most sense? Or does it need to be oriented along the potential, main gate and thoroughfare for the fair? There's just some things that we need to talk about.
That might be.
So anyway,
so that white square right there, that's your new building?
that is it.
Yep. But that's showing across the street? Or,
It's looking from Center Street, yeah, it's looking from Center Street.
okay.
So that's where we're at. That's it.
And so how could we maybe get a copy of something like that when you have it put together that we could put down at the city for citizens if they wanted to just kind of come in and look?
So-
Just, even if you just put draft or something so that, nobody's saying,
this one.
this is it, yeah.
I'll just make,
Like squelch and figure that.
we can just burn a copy on
Yeah.
the copier, just so that you know, this is just off of our maps, internal
Right.
maps, and then figured out the scale and then blew up the floor plan to the scale. This is
Right.
just taped over the top of it right now.
And that's good. I just think people will have questions and that will help us to answer them, to have something visual.
I agree.
Tony's gonna wanna see it like that too for his survey.
Oh, absolutely, sure.
But like, for instance, if you look at this, and we were gonna be doing, I hate to go back, there's this little strip that is currently owned by the county. I don't know where that came from, and I don't know why.
I have no idea.
There's our trade. That was
I don't know if that was put together for the power line easement that comes overhead,
Probably.
Oh,
but we could then, we could leave it as an easement, and if that's what it actually is, and give it as part of the trade. This right-of-way becomes part of the county.
Yeah.
We would ask, as we go down the first phase, is just to square this off.
Yep,
Okay, so that whole piece is then, this building's sitting on this piece for right now. And it, as Jason said, it all doesn't have to happen right now.
Sure.
But as we go down the rights of way vacation, as well as property exchanges, you see the bigger picture.
Sure.
You see the potentials. Now, some of those potentials get in the way of either personal history, emotions, whatever those attachments are, and we'll just have to work through those. But it's
Sure.
not inevitable. It'll happen.
Sure.
So anyway, that's why I didn't get anything done yesterday.
so can we get some storage units hauled down there for those two buildings so that I can start going down and hopefully Piney?
This is gonna sound like a rude question. How much of that is actually of value to keep?
About, I'm gonna guess, probably 50%.
Okay.
And that's just guessing without, and from memory, when it was vandalized and we walked through everything at that point.
Okay. So that said, and I'm speaking literally from a personal standpoint, when I
Mhm.
walked in and I was seeing things like offices that had nothing but just stuff on the floor.
Yeah. Oh, it's bad right now.
And I'm thinking to myself, okay, the mice have been running all over through that stuff. Do you
The
really
display
want to sort
cases.
through it and keep it, or are you just
Mostly
gonna pick
just
all that up?
display cases, shelving, that kind of stuff.
Okay, that makes it,
None of the other junk, like the ribbons that got destroyed, all of that. We need a big garbage and we need some things to
Okay.
just put the good stuff in.
I think,
I'll get with Scott.
I think 2 to
You
3
need
connexes would
Yeah.
suffice.
Yeah, we
I'll
need
get with
both.
Scott and you guys can have a conversation on
Perfect.
Monday.
Or, did you say a Connex and 2 to 3 dumpsters, or did you say a Connex?
2 to 3 connexes.
2 or 3 of both.
50/50.
There's a
She
lot
said
of-
50%.
Yeah,
So.
and they are full, they're pretty full,
Okay.
yeah.
And that said, how quick would you be able to actually,
I will live down there except for work, so I'll get down there and get going.
Well, we can come support and help. But like I said, we'll get hold of Scott.
Okay, and I'll get Jamie to
He has his
line all
schedule
that up.
too.
Perfect.
that we can utilize. We'll make it happen.
Okay,
so real quickly, just so that you know, one of the benefits that works for us, when we were across the street on this site, we had we had some items that needed to take care of in regards to utilities, which this is going to be less for us because we have particular power. This power pole has 3 transformers on it. And once we take all of the power out of these buildings, we capitalize on being able to use those transformers without setting new poles, et cetera.
Sure.
We automatically have our service, et cetera. There's a few things that work in our favor.
Sure.
So
Okay.
from a budget standpoint, every $1,000 that we can try to find, we're happy.
Sure.
There's a fire hydrant on this corner too.
That's correct.
So there's your high pressure for your
Our sprinkler system.
sprinklers there too.
Yep.
So that's solved.
Okay,
We spied that hydrant and we're like, yep.
so we'll write this up with,
We'll continue to work through it.
to work through
Get
the
ready to go.
easements.
Okay.
But we'll plan on going forward and having the building on this side
Yep.
with tearing down the other 3. And we'll set that in motion also. Kyle's already been talking to people. And,
You've been cheating on me with somebody else? You're in a bulldozer race with somebody else?
Did you get a- they get a demolition-
The price is going up. You're gonna have to put up a little more.
demolition.
Any other questions?
Yeah, you gotta get a permit from the city to knock those down.
Do we?
Just ask them.
We'll ask for a permit as soon as you start permitting through the county.
Okay. That's gonna be talked about Monday, so. So we still need to meet as a city council and approve what we're talking about here, and all we need to do on our end.
Yes, yes, we'll get the drawings set up
Or,
with the easements moved to the county,
okay,
as county property, and then we'll have further conversation later about
Sure.
all the other parts, but the
Just to
easements
get
and the
going.
start of the building, and to move forward with that,
okay,
tear the 3 buildings down and move forward.
okay.
But did I hear how correctly, like, the new building's not gonna be on any of the current easements that's ours at this point anyway?
Right,
This is
all
just to
done.
tear down
Right.
that building, okay,
That is correct.
okay, thank you.
Anything else? All right, we'll get moving on it. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Thank you.
appreciate it.
Short notice
Thank you.
coming, but after our meeting the